I love Apprenticeship Carolina. When I came here, one of the interesting things about it is being able to talk to businesses and find out, what it is they need, right? Dealing with people leaving, upskilling, and I find that the apprenticeship program fits in to a lot of what businesses are doing and how they want to grow and some of the issues that they're having. So being that kind of conduit of, being able to talk to them about where do we go from here, who I bring in is a great opportunity. For those of you who don't know about the apprenticeship program, we are a state agency. We are under the umbrella of the 16 technical colleges. So we're part of the technical college system. If you've ever heard of Ready SC or eZone, we used to be under that umbrella and then branched out into our own division a few years ago. So with one of the things that I like talking about with the apprenticeship program is that when we think about the communities that we live in, right? When you think about a community, what makes it thrive, right? When you think about a community that's doing well, that's growing, it's typically they have strong social connections, they have economic opportunities, they have health and wellness, they have security, safety, but most of all, the collaboration. Because to me, collaboration with businesses and school districts is key for apprenticeship programs and key for businesses to grow. And anybody that's ever sat in on one of my presentations, I always talk about the fact that, in my opinion, a community is only as strong as their businesses, right? Because without businesses in our community, what's going to happen? People aren't going to move there. People aren't going to move to an area that doesn't have any jobs, or there's no place to grow, or don't have hospitals, or don't have, restaurants. It's not conducive to a really good place to live. So businesses, they bring a lot to the community. They participate in community development, community identity, those cities that have BMW or Boeing, that's what they're known for, right? They generate a lot of tax revenue. So the role of education providers ties into that. The colleges, the high schools, what are they doing? What are they teaching? How are the kids doing? What programs do they have? So when you have all these agencies, you have your businesses working and they're concentrating on what they're doing. And then you have your education providers doing what they're doing. Then you have your colleges doing what they're doing. What happens is, even though they're all very successful, they're creating the silo effect, right? Because they're working in their own agency. They're meeting their goals, but what's happening to the community outside? A lot of times, even though you have these individual organizations that are all doing well, the community starts suffering because they're not really working together. They're not cohesive and they're not collaborating. So one of the things that I brought to Horry County when I first started is collaboration. I'm huge on that. So it's, when we talk about the apprenticeship program, the first thing I think about is not only businesses, but because we provide kind of the job training portion of it and help businesses come up with their training program, who's going to go into these programs, right? Is it going to be students? Is it going to be people that aren't working in the company, new hires? Are they looking to upskill? So all these things kind of go into that initial conversation with businesses. When you think about apprenticeship programs, what is your goal? What do you want to use them for? And it's, you hear it nowadays, this new saying that comes out, especially with the Gen Z, work smarter, not harder. But honestly, if you really stop and think about it, working smarter is hard. It's not easy. When you work smarter, you have to understand all the players. You have to understand what everybody's goal is. And for the longest time in Horry, we had a hard time working with some companies. And it wasn't because the companies were being difficult. It was because nobody was taking the time to understand what the company's goals were, right? So every agency out there has goals, whether it's to place people, whether it's to meet a certain amount of money, whatever those goals are. And if everybody's just focusing on that for themselves, then nobody's going to really want to, they may hear other things, but if it affects them getting that goal, that's what they have to concentrate on, because that's how they move forward. That's how they can help more people, is by meeting that goal. And then they get a new goal. Well, with Apprenticeship Carolina, the good part about that is we bring all those people together.